Greg Verhagen, the Barbecue Ninja here. We're at the Houston Livestock and Rodeo, and we're about to do one of my favorite things, and that's cook some alligator. This is a version of behind the scenes with the Barbecue Ninja, and I'm here with my cooking partner, the Barbecue Princess, Leslie Scott.
Hi.
And Leslie's kind of been with me through the very beginning of when I started cooking alligators, and she knows about as much about it as anybody out there. So what do you think about it, Leslie, and what you've seen and where it's come to?
Where it's come to. So let me start by saying, when I found out you were hunting alligators in the swamps of the Mississippi Delta, I almost cried because I was so scared.
You and my mama.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But what I've seen happen, we kind of started with some little small gators, and one of the things we found some ways to really attack the flavor profile so that we would really kind of enjoy it. I can remember first starting, we didn't really stuff the tail.
Right.
We've eaten some dry gator.
Yeah.
We've had some pretty dry gator,
Exactly.
but I think what you've come up with has absolutely perfected it.
Now, one of the things about the alligator and the preparation of the alligator that's very, very important is the removal of the fat out of this alligator. This tail has a bone that runs right down the middle of it, and what I do is I take this knife and I run it down this bone, and I'll open it up a little bit and get that muscle.
Can you tell us why you get rid of the fat?
Well, the fat, it's not a rendering fat. It is it's a fat that's going to stay in there, and all it's going to do is maybe turn a little gelatin color.
Right. So it's not adding flavor.
No,
it's not adding texture.
It's actually a fishy flavor.
Gotcha.
That's the gamey part of an alligator. Anytime people talk about, man, I tried alligator and I didn't like it at all. It's fishy.
It's fishy.
Well, that's because somebody didn't remove the fat.
That makes sense.
And there's two things you can do. You got some of the fat over here. Okay. I mean, it's a very white fat. I mean,
it's
even
almost
when you
like
look
the fat
in
under
here,
a chicken skin.
right? It's the whiter part of this inside that is the fat. So, removing all of that, the meat is neutral.
Right.
I always describe it as more like a pork loin.
Right.
Neutral kind of meat, or
so it takes on
chicken,
any flavor
or
you
skinless,
add.
boneless chicken thigh, something like that.
It'll-
It takes on that flavor. So we're just going to get in here. I'm going to actually open up this other side too. And this top tail, when it's opened up, is where I'll put the chorizo. I'll line it down this way. This one's still just a touch frozen, but that's actually good.
So this one, you're doing a new style. It's not the boudin one. This one's going to have, looks like wild boar chorizo. That's amazing.
And kind of what I've done for a couple of few years, I did the boudin, and you travel around and people have the boudin. Well, you go back to the same place. You don't want to give people the same thing.
Right.
So
You got to shake it up.
That was why I was actually getting these alligators from Gamekeepers Butchery, it's a division of Mossy Oak, and they actually asked me. They were like, "Man, we got all this wild boar chorizo. Is there something that you can integrate in with the alligator?" And I was like, Then I got to thinking. I was like, a street taco.
Yeah.
Where you've got there again a vehicle of the tortilla.
Right, a tortilla.
And then through our travels cooking, I had a pineapple lime cilantro slaw, and I was like, we can put some of that in there.
Yeah.
And then I was out in Oregon, and I had this, call it green sauce, and this is guacamole jalapeno sauce. And
man.
once I had that, I was like,
this is it.
That's it.
This is it.
That's my next style.
This is it.
And so when I went back to the places I'd been to before, I had that new style of alligator that I was taking out there to them. I'm gonna actually go in here. Not a whole. This alligator is pretty lean. There's not a whole lot of fat in
I'm really
here.
impressed.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, it's lean, but like those are some chunky little arms there.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because the useful meat on an alligator is the tail meat. There's two muscles up here on top, and when I flip it, I'll show you the two muscles on the bottom, and they encase a tenderloin. And that tenderloin looks exactly like a pork
tenderloin, right?
And then the leg meat, this is dark meat.
Yeah.
Front legs and the back legs. Really, the back legs have more, because the front legs through the cooking process will have a tendency to dry out a little bit.
Right.
And then you've got the neck meat up here. That's good meat there. And then on the bigger alligators, these actually have pretty good jowls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's a jowl in here that's also really good meat. And, we actually harvested one 11 feet this year.
Wow.
And the jowls were like volleyballs.
Oh, wow.
They were,
like pounds
here,
and pounds.
Here you don't even have a handful.
Right.
Those were like volleyballs.
Wow.
They were so big. And this is the bottom tail, and there's two muscles down here on this bottom tail. And what I'll do is I'll find this bone. There's like almost like a spine bone that runs along this bottom. And just like I did the top, I'll go down. I'll use that bone as a guide for my knife. Now, down here on this bottom tail, this thing, I actually peel back this top muscle, and what I'm peeling away here in the middle is the tenderloin.
There it is.
This is the tenderloin, right?
Wow.
So, but I leave it attached, and I'll trim away some of this fat here on the inside, and
yeah, that really reminds me of chicken skin. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that just gets in the way.
Yeah, and then there again, it's got that gamey flavor. So once I trim all this out, I'll put some rub on the inside, and then I'll close the bottom up.
So no chorizo on the underside.
No, underside's
you protect that
right.
that tenderloin.
Just by closing the outside muscle back over the top of it.
And you peel that tenderloin back so you can completely get it flavored. Is that right?
Completely get it flavored, and I can get all the fat.
The other stuff. Yeah. Because I can see that. Yeah, I can see all that fat.
As far as the fat, it's a great point that you made. You can get it out here before, or you can actually get it out after, because once you start pulling these muscles off, you can see that fat.
You can see it, yeah.
It's still there.
And it's really unappealing.
Yeah, you don't want to eat.
What I'm remembering. That's just not what you want to say. I think that's probably the major pitfall that people would run into cooking an alligator, is getting all that fat out and getting it clean to a point where it's ready to go on the smoker.
And it's a little bit tedious of a process of getting in here, but it's like anything. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it right.
Right, Craig. On your cooking adventure, on your hunting adventures in the Delta, how many alligators are y'all allowed to hunt per year?
Great question. We actually have private landowner tags. So based on the acreage of water that we have on our hunting club, we actually get 2 tags.
Okay.
And 2 tags actually consist of 4 alligators, because with a tag you get an alligator under 7 feet, and you get one over 7 feet.
Okay.
So we can get 4 now. The way we've been, because we've got really one lake that we have them on primarily.
Right.
And we're videoing right now. Okay. We got one lake that we have them on primarily.
Right.
So we like to manage them.
Right.
We don't want to go in there and just wipe out,
Absolutely.
4 and then all of a sudden not have a population. So we want to go in and, we'll even release some. We get an alligator that's 8 feet. Well, we don't want that for our big alligator.
Right.
So we'll release it back, let it grow and get bigger. Or if we get a small one that's 5 feet, we don't want that for our small one. we like to get into the 6 to 7, right at 7 feet range.
Right.
So we manage them. We don't just go in there and try to clean them all out and get as many as we can and make sure we fill our 4 tags and all that, because we may not, if we get just 1 alligator or 2 alligators, we may not even buy that second tag.
Oh, right.
So,
right.
but we can get it. It's there to get, but we may not buy it just because we're not going to get 2 more of them.
Right.
But I'm coming in here on this tail with the stuffing and getting it packed in there real good. And this wild boar chorizo it's got the just great spice to it, and it's such a compliment to the little bit of the pineapple sweet and the slaw, and then that
like
green
that
sauce,
vinegary, smooth. That sauce is one of my favorites because it's got so many different flavors in that one. It's
like I said about that green sauce. It'd be good on a shoot.
That's true.
It's just good on anything. I mean, just a straight on a chip, as a dip. I tell you, it's not going to take just a whole lot, but what we'll do is we'll actually cook this chorizo too separately, so we can have
some to add into our
the
stuff.
meat and go into the taco. All right. Well, there you have it.
Perfect.
These things are, Matt's got this over here. We may add a little bit more of this tail, but not a whole lot more. It looks like it's not going to take just a... Now, this is one spot that, and I happen not to have them currently, but this is a good spot that you can get like skewers.
Yeah.
And you can stick skewers through here just to support this a little bit.
Oh, right.
So, because when this cooks, sometimes it has a tendency to maybe fall or anything. But that's another pro tip right here. When you're cooking these alligators, cook them. I cook them on a sheet pan now. You see, this is a solid sheet pan. So if something does fall, it doesn't fall into your grill, it falls into the pan, and you can still use it. But also, when you're done with this and you pull all the meat, you throw the carcass in the garbage, roll up the foil, throw it away. You haven't messed the grill up.
Yeah.
You haven't messed the pan up.
Perfect.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Well,
so,
I think this guy's ready to go on the smoker.
we're fixing to put them on the smoker.
Oh, that's perfect.
All right.